Hey guys, good morning. Fix my beard. Coming to you guys live this morning from the Dakota. So I saw in the comments somebody asked me to explain the your credit score, what is credit, and the use of credit cards. Simple. Your credit score is an imaginary number that the banking system, the banking institution made up to see how reliable you were to repay a loan, to pay back a debt. I'm going to say that again. Your credit score is an imaginary number that the banking system made up to see how reliable you are to repay a loan. Whatever loan you take out is to see how likely you will pay them back. It is a number attached to you. It is really hard to raise this number, and it is really easy to drop the number. You can do everything right for 10 years, 20 years. You can do everything in your life right. And as soon as something happens and you miss one payment or two payments and you have full intentions on getting back on track, your score will drop drastically. This is why I tell people to stack cash, not to pay off debt, to stack cash. And I've already gotten a lot of heat for that in the comments, and it is what it is. What I am telling you to do is not wrong. There are plenty ways to skin this cat. Okay, there are plenty different ways to get wealthy, to start breaking away from the 9 to 5. There are plenty different ways. You guys can go seek out that information. But I started my life from nothing. I had to rebuild my life from nothing at 32 years old. And I said, this will never happen to me again. How can I fix this problem? What can I do to ensure that I never go through this again in life? I started self-education. I started to teach myself about the banking system, a banking industry. I started to learn about real estate. I started following wealthy people. What are these guys doing to get rich? What are they doing? Because obviously going back to college is not going to help me out. What are these guys doing? Trying to go back and get a second degree is not going to fix my problem. The first one didn't do anything. So I started to really research these wealthy people, and I rebuilt my life from nothing. So when I give you guys this information, I'm giving it to you as raw and as real as I possibly can. I break it down in the simplest form that I possibly can because I know that I have people on here that understand on different levels. And some of you guys are very young to very old, and I say that respectfully. I hope to get very old. I have 16 and 17-year-old kids on the channel, and I say that respectfully. I wish I was 16 and 17 again. And I have 70-year-old men on the channel. If you've never sat down and educated yourself on the banking industry, on the real estate industry, on business, I told you guys it's a trifecta. Business, stocks, real estate. And another trifecta that you want to have to thrive in that is income, credit, and equity. Those three things you want to have to thrive in this. I need you to start looking at this as a game because that is what it is. This is a game. And you have to decide which game are you playing. All of this is leading back to credit. You have to decide what game am I going to play? What is my risk tolerance? Can I stomach investing my life into Bitcoin? What if I wake up and Bitcoin is completely gone? Who says that that can't happen? That you wake up and those numbers on that screen are completely wiped away? Who says that can't happen? I am a major believer that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I will always be a gold, a silver, a guns, bullets, commodities, oil, gas, real estate, tangible asset kind of guy. I will always be that kind of man, and you will never change my mind. I can see the futuristic value of Bitcoin. I can completely understand it and I can respect it, but I do not understand enough about it to want to put my money into it. If you do not understand the investment that you are making, you should not make it. I cannot be any more clearer with these things. So again, your credit score is an imaginary number that the banking system made up to see how likely you are to repay a loan. They want to know that you are a good investment. So the higher your score, the better, the lower your interest rate will be. And it tells them that this guy's going to repay me. He works hard. He takes his finances serious. The lower your score, it says that, hey, this person's, suspect. You've had some life troubles or you don't care. Your credit will say whether you're just had a mishap and you're about to jump back on track. It will tell. Your track history and your credit report will tell that. Hey, this dude just lost his job for 6 months, but I see he's back on track. Let's get him back there. The bank's going to help you. To touch base, if your bank will not help you at a time of need, you need a new bank. Anything I'm telling you guys to do is very possible through your bank. And if your bank will not help you, then you do not need to bank with them. I cannot stress that enough to you. If my bank turns me down for a car loan, I'm gone. I'm not giving you my money. I'm not playing with you anymore. Oh, why are you closing your account? Because I needed help and you weren't there. Why should I do business with you? So those are things that you need to keep in mind. If your bank will not help you, you need a new bank. Everything I'm telling you to do is factual, actual information. So your credit score, again, I'd repeat these things to drill it into you. Your credit score, again, is an imaginary number that the banking system came up with to see how likely you are to repay a loan. The better score you have, the lower of an interest rate you will get. And an interest rate is the amount of money that you have to pay back the bank for borrowing their money. It's the amount of money you have to pay back the bank for borrowing their money. If you borrow $1,000 at 20%, that means that you owe the bank $1,200. If you borrow $1,000 at 5%, that means that you owe the bank $1,050. We with me? So the better your credit, the lower the interest rate. And it's the more likelihood that you will be approved. But the first time you make a mistake, your credit score will drop drastically. This is why I tell people to not, if you're in debt, if you're deep down in the negative, stop playing the credit game. Because ultimately, let me pull over right here, but ultimately we want to get back to zero. Remember, if you're in the negative, think of it again. We're talking 6th grade algebra, integers, negatives and positives, zeros in the middle. If you're all the way out there in the negative and you want to get back to zero, the fastest way to get back to zero is to stop everything you're doing and go to zero. This is negative. You can go no more negative. So basically you're paying off all these things that you no longer have. The bank is not going to give you anything anyway. So we need to just stop, forget about the negative for right now, go back to zero and start moving forward into the positive. You need to start moving forward into the positive of saving cash. That way you have cash on hand so you don't fall back in the negative anymore. If I'm not explaining that clearly enough, please let me know in the comments below. But I really don't know any other way to explain it. I'm going to do it one more time. We are already in the negative. We're paying on a car we no longer own. We're paying on a credit card that we can no longer use. We're paying whatever it is that you're paying. You're paying off old furniture from Rent-A-Center that you should not have gotten in the first place. Those places prey on poor people. You're paying off some old payday loan. You're paying off all these old things that you no longer have access to anyway. Let's stop. You have no cash. You're going crazy. You're like, how am I going to get ahead? What do? I got all this negativity, all this debt. Stop. Stop. Start saving and getting yourself to a $10,000 emergency fund. Start getting to $10,000. Once you get to $10,000, you will have learned so many life lessons. $10,000 will teach you, I don't want to hang out with these people anymore. I don't want to drink beer with these people anymore. I don't want to go to the bars and the clubs. I don't want to spend this money on that. I don't want to waste this money on that. I'm not buying the clothes here. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Get yourself to $10,000. Then, if you want, go back and start repaying off that negative debt. But at least get yourself into the positive. And then go back and start paying off that negative debt. I would not worry about trying to tackle all that negative debt at one time. I wouldn't worry about that. I would just pick what's bothering me the most. Who is harassing me the most? Who is bothering me the most? Who has potential to bring litigation against me? That means drag me into court. Is that credit card company really about to try and sue me? Or are they trying to come to court? Then I'm going to start paying them. Is Rent-A-Center really knocking on my door? Let me get them paid. I'm going for who the hell is harassing me the most that I need to pay off. I don't care what it is. I care how hard they're coming at me. And then you understand? I want to know, how hard is this company coming at me to pay it off? Okay, let me get to them. Get yourself in the positive. Your credit is already shit. It is already shot. So you can pay it all off if you want to, get back to zero, and now you're still broke and you have no money, and then life happens and you're back in debt. If my way, you just go straight to zero and start paying yourself into positivity. You start stacking your cash positive. I'm trying to really break this down in a simplified form. I hope you guys understand. If you have questions about this, leave it in the comments below. The comments are full of a wealth of knowledge. There are great people in there that comment on these things, but I want each and every one of you to succeed. There's so much bad information out there. I was dead in the water. I had absolutely nothing, and I rebuilt my life from deep in the negative. I was $40,000 in debt, no job, no nothing. And I rebuilt my life from that. So when I give you these life hacks and these skills, they're coming from real experience. Thank God my mic's on. I was like, man, is that thing? Because dude, if it's off, then I'm just sitting there talking and it's recording nothing. It's happened to me a couple of times in the past and it sucks. But I'm coming to you guys with these life hacks of real experience. Now, being in the negative is not always about credit. There are other things that I just wouldn't tolerate, whether that's people. I'll give you a negative like this, and then we'll go back to credit. If I have a shit car that is constantly breaking down, that is constantly causing me problems, I'm getting rid of it. It within itself is a negative. And then I'm going to solely rely on me. Because here's the deal, and I explained this to my son. Here's the deal. If you have a crap car, mentally you think it'll get me there and it's going to get me back. But what if it gets you far away, maybe to the next town over, and it breaks down and now you're 40 miles away with no way back? I don't want those problems in my life. I'm dumping the car. I don't want to deal with the maintenance or the insurance on it. I'm getting rid of the vehicle, and then I am relying on me and what my body can do. I'm going to go to riding a bicycle. I'm going to go to walking. If you skateboard or whatever you choose, do whatever you do. But I'm not going to have a junk car that will potentially break down on me. So what this has done is it has given me X amount of radius of how far I can move and how far I can go, because my body will only allow me to have whatever type of shape you're in. And this will help you out if you're in horrible shape. But dump the car. Get rid of it. You're broke. You're in the negative and you got a shit car. Get rid of it. Now you know what kind of job you can apply for. You don't have to play that game of, hey man, you know what? My car broke down. I need a ride to work. That's the worst feeling in the world, is trying to wait on people to give you a ride to work. You're not playing that shit game of, I need a ride to work. My car broke down, or, you know, man, my car broke down. I need to save up some money to fix it. Get rid of it. Now I know, hey man, you know what? I can only walk 5 miles here, 5 miles back, and still be able to do the things that I need to do. School bus has got my kids, you know, there you go. Life will sort itself out, but you have to work your life around, hey, I don't have a car no more. I'm walking. I have no car payment. I have no shit car problems. I have no high insurance. I'm walking. I'm riding the bike. I'm doing what I need to do for me. I'm getting there. Go buy a scooter. Go buy a freaking scooter, man. What was that movie with Tom Hanks? He went through a divorce. He lost his job. He couldn't afford his house. He dumped the house, moved into like a studio apartment, started riding a scooter. I can't remember what that movie was, man. Somebody probably figure it out in the comments below. But I mean, man, that dude downgraded his life and he started living very simple and he lived very good. And I'm telling you to do the same thing. If I'm in the negative in any part of my life, if it's a negative asset, I'm dumping it. It's gone. If it's negative credit, I'm dumping it. It's gone. No longer is that a factor in my life. I'm back to zero. Let's rebuild from here. So again, your credit score is an imaginary number that the banking system came up with to see how likely you are to repay a loan. The higher your income, you want the trifecta. You want income. You want job history. You want credit, and you want equity. Income, credit, and equity are a trifecta into allowing you to get a better loan, a better interest rate, a better mortgage rate, all these things. It's just all around ideally what you want. But if you don't understand these things, we're not going to jump into mortgage and things of that nature. If you don't understand these things, one, you need to start self-educating yourself. There is no way that you're going to get rich and wealthy without education. You want to own a home, you want to be a millionaire, but you're not studying the things that millionaires have to study to maintain their money. They have to study real estate. They have to know the stock market, the bonds market. They have to know these things. You don't have to know Bitcoin. Not at all. It's probably good to know that. I see the positive in it, but you need to be studying the actual hard, tangible assets that really millionaires invest in to grow their wealth. That is multifamily homes, multi-unit homes, properties. You guys know it. There's plenty of content about that. So, and as far as credit cards go, no. There's only a few scenarios that I give you guys, and to keep me from having to really go into that. If you don't know what to do with credit, if you don't know how to leverage debt, you don't need to be messing with credit cards. But I'm going to tap into it and I'm going to give you my own personal experience. I personally do use a credit card. I run my life off of a credit card and then I repay that credit card every month. It keeps my credit in good standing. I do everything on a credit card. My son, Netflix, internet, my rent, everything runs off a credit card. And then I repay that credit card every month. I don't have to live that way. I'm not living in debt. I do that to keep my credit intact and in good standing. People that are in a good financial position understand exactly what I'm saying. I live my life off the credit card and then I repay it back every month. It does two things. It keeps my credit in good standing always. It keeps my credit score great. And it provides me a level of security. That way, if my accounts are ever hacked, my online banking accounts in any form are ever hacked, they do not take my money. They take the credit card company's money, which in return has their own defense systems in place, their own security systems in place. So yes, I have to work with the credit card companies to fix that, but my money is still safe in my bank account. Okay? So if you don't understand how to leverage debt, I would not mess with debt. I would go back to, I'm in a negative, I'm getting a zero, I'm stacking cash. For you young guys that have no credit, or for anybody, if you have no credit, something you can do, and do not do this if you do not have personal character about yourself. If you're just going to take it, don't do that. But if you have personal character and you're really trying to grow in the business world, in this realm, then you can go sign up for a credit card. If you have no credit, you're going to be given a $250 or $500 limit, somewhere in between there. It's unlikely you'll get 1,000, but you might get 1,000 this day and age, with a higher interest rate. And you start using that. If you're a young guy, you're 18, 21 years old, You start using that $500 credit card to get your gas, to pay for your Netflix, to pay for the things on your game, and then you go back to work and you repay that credit card off like I told you I do. And you do that on your level. And you go back to work and you repay that. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do this. If you know that you're not going to repay it, don't do this, because it's going to follow you and eventually you'll have to repay it at some point in your life. I wouldn't want my son to do this unless he was really going to play the game. If you're not willing to play the game, or you don't want to play the game, do not do this. Just stack cash, enjoy your life, start learning how to make proper investments for the money in the future. But if you want to play the game and you want to get involved with it at a young age, by playing the game, I've told you guys, business, stocks, real estate, those three things run the country in any form. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care what stocks you're investing in. I don't care what real estate you're looking at. They run the world. You got the oil business, the gas industry. You got, gold, silver. You got freaking real estate is a business within itself with all types of smaller entities. You can be an agent. You can be a broker. All those things, business, stocks, real estate. You have to learn those. You have to learn at least one, master at least one. So if you really want to play the game and get started at a young age, you take the $250, $500 credit card limit and you start using it on your personal life, your McDonald's, your whatever. Don't eat McDonald's, that's trash. Your whatever. And you make sure you repay it every month, just like I told you I do. It will help build your credit score. And after you've done that for a year or two, they will start to increase your balance. Now they do that. Let me explain this. They increase your balance because they want you in debt. My balance gets increased constantly, but I do not pay any more than my living expenses on my credit card, because if I overextend myself is what they want, for you to be overextended, because they make money off the interest. Again, if you borrow $1,000 and you got a 20% interest rate, you're paying back $1,200. They want money off the interest. I don't play that game. I just pay them back every time. I don't allow it to accumulate a lot of interest. I don't allow it to go negative. So they will increase your limit, and constantly increasing your limit is also increasing your score. But you need to be mindful and not overextend yourself. So your $500 credit limit will eventually find its way up to $750 and $1,000. And you're like, oh man, I got $1,000. No, you don't. If you've been living on $300 on that credit card every month, you need to stay at $300 on that credit card every month and repay it back. And just know that, hey, I have this limit. That credit limit, until you learn how to leverage debt, just let it stack up. But that credit limit is not free money. It is debt. And eventually, you get a card, $10,000, $25,000, $30,000 credit limit. You're able to take that and leverage that debt. You don't need a loan. You've been given a loan on that little plastic card, and you take that debt and then you go and you start flipping houses, you remodeling houses, or whatever you need to do. You start using that to leverage it and then move into a better financial position. So this is all positioning. That's what this is. This is all getting you in a position to start playing the game. And that's what I'm here I've tried to break this down to the simplest form. I hope I'm doing a good enough job, because I understand everybody understands at their own level. So I hope I'm doing a good enough job to explain this to you, because I know everybody understands at their own level. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys got any more questions, comments, or anything, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'm going to do the best I can to always, return and respond to you guys. I do read the comments. It's getting to the point to where I can't respond to everybody. I'm sorry. It's just getting there. And I never expected it to get to that point, but it is. I guess it was inevitable. At some way. There are way more of you than it is of me. I do ask that if you ask a question, try to be serious about it. I do believe that people only learn and listen when they pay. I'm trying to not make anybody pay for anything. If I get paid, it will be from this channel, this platform itself. But I really believe that people only pay attention and listen when they pay. When you've applied your money to something, that is when you listen and you hold on to every single drop. So I'm debating if whether or not I need to set up something to where that I don't know. I will discuss that at another point, but I just ask that if you ask a question, you ask a serious question, because I take your question serious. So I just ask that. I ask for the same respect in return, that when you ask me something, be serious about it, because I'm going to do the best I can to give you a serious answer. Anyways, hey, I'm going to leave it there, man. You guys have a great day, a great morning. We might jump back on here later tonight. I'm not sure. But as of right now, you guys have a great freaking day. All right. Take care. I'll talk to you later.